What's up? What's up? What's up, y'all? It's Ronnie G coming to y'all with another video lesson. This is Wednesday webinar. You know how we do it. I know it's been a while. We had a little holiday layover the last 2 weeks, and just been kind of slow in the market. Been really slow. Not really a lot going on, but we still have work to do. There's still work to be done, and I'm gonna go over that today. So I created a small little slide for everybody, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen right now. What now? And that's kind of what I titled this. For everybody who's wondering, like, what now? Like, the overall markets haven't been doing so well. There has been opportunities, but it hasn't lasted long. So I'm just going to go over that real quick, and we're going to go ahead and get started with the slide. So we'll go over some tips. Man. The first things first, be patient. Be patient. It's all you can do at this moment. Just being honest, it's the only thing that you can do. You have to wait for the setup. That's part of one of the rules that, we have set as a community. You have to be patient. If you're not patient, you're going to end up forcing trades. Forcing trades will only make your account smaller. It just will. That's just how the market works. The market is not always doing good. And I want to go ahead and go to the market so we can see, what it's been doing. And this is the IWM. This is the small cap market. It had a big tank yesterday. Now, today it was closed for President Bush Sr. He died, so RIP to him. But the market closed. It just did. It wasn't. It was just out of respect of him. But the day before, it dropped. So it dropped so much. It's like, dang, like we were just having a nice little run up right here, and it was a nice little run up. And there was a small window of opportunity. That's one of my other tips. There are going to be small windows, very, very small windows to capitalize, to trade, to gain some profits. And you have to be able to catch them. But the only way you're going to be able to catch them if you do your technical analysis on these charts, if you see where the opportunity is. You see I have my support line driven right here. And even though it's still in the stage 4, there are small windows of opportunities right at these dipping points where the market dips, and it dips right here. There are going to be small windows of opportunities. When those dips happen and it starts to go up, you'll start to see some plays pop up on your scanner, and sometimes you won't. And so you have to be, diligent in looking for those plays, going through the list. And that's something that I'm doing right now, just going through the list, seeing what's there. If there's nothing there, then I don't play it. I'm looking for my ideal setup. I'm looking to buy dips, anything that's uptrending. I don't want to trade nothing that's downtrending. I'm just not going to do that. I don't care if it's, if it's downtrending and I can get a 10% gain, I'm still not taking it, not in this market. I'm being very disciplined on that. But that's really what's going on right now. There's going to be just small windows of opportunity. The market's just been in the stage 4. We can go to the S&P 500. We see that it had a dip, it had a rally, dropped. It's just dropped, and it's the bad news. Trade deals, tariffs, all that is what's going on right now. This market is shaky. It's very slow. The Fed rates hiked, and so we're at this point. It's like there's not a lot going on, and it can get boring. And that's just what it is. And this is the perfect example of why I say don't make this be your mainstream of income. Don't never depend on this. You can't. It's not set up that way. That the world doesn't work like that. If you're dependent on this right now, you are eating your shorts. Like Bart Simpson used to say, you're eating your shorts because you're biting your nails trying to figure out what I'm going to do or, what I do next. It's because you can't depend on one stream of income. And right now, this is just perfect example of why you can't depend on the stock market for one stream. Got to have multiple streams. So for those who are listening, who are doing that, congrats. Now you see, you don't put all your eggs in one basket like Warren Buffett always says. But that's the S&P 500. It's still within trend, but there isn't. There's only small windows of opportunities. Same thing goes with the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq is just, the tech has been doing not so well. It will pick back up. It's tech. That's kind of what the world is driven off of right now, is tech. So that's the only thing that we have going right now. But that's going to eventually go back up. Now, looking at the Dow, it's all right. Even though it had a big drop that same day, when the bad news came out on the trades, on the tariffs, it did drop just like every other overall market. A lot of people start selling. It's just going to go into a slow point. Now, can it pick back up next week? Yes, absolutely. And that's what I mean by being alert and being attentive, that there will be small windows of opportunity. You just have to take it when it's there, and you have to take that chance. And so if we are going off of the S&P 500, yeah, you see that it's still within trend. You also see that if it could bounce, that can be a small window of opportunity. You have to be able to watch that every day, to see it every day, because you never know when that bounce is going to happen. The bounce can happen. It can drop below and then go right back up, just like it did right here, just like it did right here. And those rallies are the small window of opportunity. Now, if you're trading mid-cap stocks, if you're adding that to your repertoire like I did, trading those stocks are pretty strong. They have pretty substance to them. So their trends, if you do find a stock that is uptrending, while the stock market, where the overall markets are in kind of like a trends of, it's like in a stage 3, then you have something good going on right there. And there's that small window and you can take it. So what I'm doing, I'm just paying attention to the overall markets, seeing these small windows of opportunities. I'm looking for it to dip off this trend line support right here that I have. And once it dips, if it does dip, I'm looking for opportunities. Even if it goes up and then it goes red the next day, I'm still looking for opportunity, because that small window is just small. It lasts a day or a week. Like that's just how it works. And you've seen, I've traded once this month. I've traded twice last month. There's not a lot of opportunity. So when it happens, it happens. Don't get in that habit. Don't get in a bad habit of not being attentive to the market. Always stay in tune, regardless, because it's important not only for your profits and your account, but it's important to know what's going on in the world and how you can prepare yourself for anything, any economic disaster, anything. You always be prepared. And of course, we wouldn't talk about this if the market wasn't shaky at this moment, but we are talking about it. So you do want to be attentive always, regardless. You have this knowledge to understand how the market works. You can understand how trends work, using your support and your resistance and your technical analysis training. You can give yourself probability, whether it's high or low. You can see where the markets are going. You can see and pay attention to the news, and you can stay up to date with what everybody is talking about. So it's not hard. It's just you have to be attentive. You have to get out of that boring slump. Oh, it's not a lot of plays. I'm not making any money. I'm just not going to look at the market at all. Wrong. That's where you're wrong, because you just seen me profit. You just seen Collar profit. Shout out to Collar, cousin. You just seen him profit. You see these small spurts of people, profiting, and you just have to be attentive. If you're not, it won't work out for you. And right now, it's not working out for nobody. But when there are the small windows of opportunities, you want to be ready. You want to be prepared. And that's all I'm really summing up is be prepared, be ready for that. So that was my next point. there are small windows of opportunity. What does that look like? And I just showed you, using the technical analysis, I am basically looking for support trend lines. And whenever it bounces and starts to rally, I'm looking at my scanners, I'm looking at stocks, and I'm finding stocks that are basically in an uptrend. They are in an uptrend or trying to go in an uptrend, and they are just coming out of stage one. So those are the stocks I'm looking for. Stocks that came out of stage 4, stage 1, now they on stage 2. Those are the stocks that I'm looking for. Stocks that are trending up. They're trending up. They're in stage 2. I'm not looking for stocks that are in stage 4 and they have a small little rally. No, I'm not looking for that. I mean, your probability of winning when the stock is trending down and then you're going long, you're betting with the company, your probability is low. And I'm not betting with that. I'm not taking any risk. It just doesn't make sense to take risk when the stock is going down, it's trending down. It's like, duh, like, why would you do that? But you never have that duh moment before you enter. You have that duh moment after you take the trade, after you take the L, and now you sitting there licking your chops and just like, dang. Or licking your wounds, like your wounds is just like, I took another loss. Duh, you took another loss. Like, look at the probability of winning. So small windows. When you see the overall markets, you see it's bouncing off a trend line support. Right now it's coming down. Then you result back to the scanners and see what stocks or your watch list or what stocks are going to be trending. And you just have to watch and you have to sit back. And I know that's boring, but it does you good when the opportunities are there because you're already prepared. You're not scrambling, looking for stocks and trying to rush. You already have it right there on your watch list, or it's the stock you've been watching for a while and you have alerts set on it and your alerts are going off now. So yeah, that's what I mean by just staying prepared, staying ready. And you want to be ready for those opportunities. So keep your rules in front view. So the rules are in the chat room. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the chat room real quick. So y'all can see where the rules are at. They're in front view. I have the fundamental rules. Now, if you have your own private rules, then yeah, keep them in your front view. Keep them in your front view. And a lot of y'all ask me, Ronnie, what rules do you have? I do have my little rules for myself, like small little rules, such as, if you haven't looked at the stock market the day before or the day, don't just jump at something that day, because I end up losing. But these are the rules that I use as well. And they are all right here pinned to our chat. Rule number 1, don't blow up your account. How do I do that? Always set your stops. Always set your stops. You guys know how to set your stop. 1 to 2% under the support line, stuff like that. Don't chase. So if a stock is already up, it's been green, it's already been up. Wait for that pullback. Don't just jump in just because it looks good, it looks green. Number 4, wait for the setups to happen. You just got to wait for them. You got to wait for that pullback. You got to wait for that bounce, that dip and bounce within the trend. Uptrend. So yeah, you just gotta wait for your setups. Don't try to force it. Don't say, this looks like it's gonna go up and you haven't tested it yet. So always test your strategies using your demo account, using your on demand app that's in Thinkorswim. It's right here on demand. So use that. Also, control fear and greed, which is the best. You got to save the best for last. Control fear and greed. Now, the market is obviously been in the downtrend for a while, and yeah, I can see why somebody would be fearful in getting in the stock, or you just took a loss. I can see why you could be fearful, or everybody's profiting, and I can see why you will be fearing of missing out. And reality is, you got to control that. Even sometimes I fear. Oh, that was bad. That was a bad deal. Give me a second. I think I'm good. All right. You can fear of missing out. You can fear from taking a loss, a recent loss, but you got to control that and manage that. Because if you never overcome that fear, then you'll never win. And then greed. With greed, let's just say you're in a stock and your goal was 10% and you see the stock is up 12%. Go ahead and get out. Go ahead and take profits. Don't be greedy. Especially not especially especially not in this market. And let's just say, oh, Ronnie, what about letting your winners run? Well, yeah, if we're in a bearish market, I mean a bullish market, and you're going long, then yeah, let them run. You'll have a target zone. When I do this sometimes, I say, all right, my minimum gain that I want to make is 10%, but I want to see between 10% and 25%. And so if it go up to 20%, I can take profits there. But if it's a bearish market like it is now, obviously I'm just taking my 10% and getting out. That's just what it is because it's not a bullish market. It's not going in my favor of how I trade. My strategy is bullish, so I'm going long. Therefore, like if I see that it's up, I'm just cashing out. Greed out the window. Like I'm just telling greed to shut up because greed does come up in my head too, and fear does come up in my head too. But I manage it. I control it. I stay disciplined within that range, within my atmosphere of thinking. And I know how I trade. I know my weaknesses, and I'm self-aware of that because I study my trades, and I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at, and I stick to my strengths. So I always keep these fundamental rules in your front view. You just want to. If you don't, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very hard for you, and it's just you're going to make things difficult. You're going to end up blowing up your account, and so you don't want to do that. Um, and that's that. Those are the rules. So I always keep the rules in your front view and keep your eyes on the prize. You know, remember why you got started and why you need to finish because everybody got started here for a reason. You know, everybody here started for a reason. I don't like being broke. I just don't. I like having an abundance. I like being able to help other people. I like that. I like doing that. Therefore, that's why I got started, and I want to be in that position always and forever. So, with that being said, I know why I got started. I know why I'm in this. I know my plans. What are your plans? What are you planning on doing? Are you going to continue to be in that same position? Are you going to ever reach your goal? Is it up to you? Is it up to somebody else? No, it's up to you. And are you doing everything in your power to make sure you hit that goal? Are you staying positive? Are you feeding yourself positive thoughts about reaching that goal? Maybe you haven't reached it yet. Maybe you feel like it's not going to happen. Well, it can happen. It will happen if you keep believing, if you keep doing everything you need to do to make sure you reach that goal. And basically being patient. Now, don't force in trades. Look for the small windows of opportunity, meaning be attentive. You know, be attentive, focus, keep your rules in front of you, keep your eyes on the prize. So whatever it is that you want, remind yourself of that every day as much as you can. Basically, everything you visualize where you see yourself in the future, you need to visualize it every day. And that's what I'm noticing because when I don't do that for me, for myself, in my opinion, when I don't do that, I do get sidetracked. I do get off focus. And it happens to the best of us. And so that's what it has to be with all of us is keeping your eyes on the prize. And whether that's a screenshot, I mean not a screenshot, but a whether that's a screensaver, whether that's on your desktop background, whether that's a picture in your mirror, wherever it is, remind yourself of that. And if you need some motivation, I'm always a guy that's willing to tell you some optimism, some optimistic point of view. So just you can come to me, you can come to somebody else. Stay positive as possible. And I think we've been doing a great job with that in the chat room. So there hasn't been any, negative things, super negative things. But keeping positive, staying attentive, staying active, and staying participating in the market, even though there's not a lot of moves, unless you are shorting. So yeah, that's it. That's pretty much it. That's all I have now. As far as tomorrow goes, I'm thinking that since the market did drop a lot within that same day, I'm not sure if this support is going to hold. I'm hoping it does, but if it doesn't, oh well, we're going to trade whatever. If it drops to, great. Here's another support right here that it can support. Here's another area of support because, I'm just doing my analysis. I see it. Here's another area of support right here. Here's another area of support. So if it doesn't, cool. I'm looking for that bounce, and I'm just waiting for that bounce. Tomorrow, I'm thinking it can bounce. If it can drop some more, I'm thinking it can bounce. It can be another window of opportunity, a very, very small window of opportunity. So when that opportunity comes, guess what? Ronnie G is going to be doing? I'm going to be looking at my scanners. I'm also going to be looking at mid-cap stocks too. I've been adding some of them to my watch list. I know the prices may seem high, but don't focus on the prices. Focus on percentages, and you want to stick with that. Looking at the percentages, using your trend line tool right here to calculate your percentages and stick in with that. Also, make sure you keep looking at the price range. You want great price range. If you are buying a dip, and you want at least 10% to the next resistance if you want to buy. I'm just saying that just makes sense. If you want to grab 10%, you probably want the next resistance point to be 20% or 15%. So you can grab that 10% and get out before the sell-off starts to happen at the resistance points, because you do notice that. I hope y'all notice that by now. If it does dip, there is a resistance point, and there is always people selling at those resistance points, and those are some smart people. So just be attentive. I think tomorrow it can bounce right here. I think it is going to drop a little bit more just because of the bad news. And then you have a death, and it's like, yeah, everybody's the market has a very, very negative sentiment right now, negative behavior. So that's what I'm thinking for the forecast of this week. And I'm going based off of analysis. If a bounce was to happen, there's a resistance right here. So, there's small window. As soon as I see that bounce, I'm going to go to the scanners. I'm going to start looking at my hourly charts for entries, and I will keep y'all updated on that in the chat room. Now, if y'all do have any questions about anything, just always ask. You can ask in the chat. There is no dumb questions. You can send me a private message. It's however you want to do it. I don't really like the private messages unless I don't mind the private messages. I just rather it be a public question, because when there's a public question, you answer other people's questions and they haven't asked yet. They're too scared. I get it. We sometimes we all don't want to. If I ask this question, it's going to be stupid. If you ask a public question, I promise you, someone else had that same question, and it does me a favor. So if you guys like me enough and you want to do me a favor, ask a public question, because now I don't get to some of the same questions over and over, which is fine with me. That's my job. But if you can do me some justice, ask public questions, especially aftermarket. Aftermarket, like right now, best time to ask questions. But send those questions. I'll answer them publicly too. If it's something more private about your account or something like that, then obviously send me a private message, and we'll deal with it from there. We'll take care of it. I appreciate you guys for staying with it, sticking with us, staying in the community. I appreciate you guys, who had a tough year and are still sticking with it. Some of you guys have gotten back in the green on your accounts, which I'm very proud of. And I would like to see some of you guys' reports. And that leads me to my next slide. Reports. Send me net profit reports to Ronnie at ymcenterprises.com. Yes, I need to see the reports. I need these reports because it's going to make me better. I need to measure my ability to teach, and I have to. That's the only way I'm gonna get better, especially if you plan on sticking around for a minute, which I hope you all do. Don't leave off. But if you're gonna stick around, help me out. Help me help you, basically. You know, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and vice versa. So send those reports to Ronnie at ymcenterprises.com. If you're not a VIP member and you're watching this, then yes, send your reports to me too. Send me, Ronnie, I made 20 grand this year. Ronnie, I made 30 grand. Ronnie, I made 5 grand. Ronnie, I made $1. Bet it was $1 more than what you started from. So everybody wins. Now, if you do, if you're in the red this year, you didn't have a good year, then send me those reports so I can see what is going on, whether it's habit related, whether it's rule related, whether it's teaching related. And, I'm always going to take the blame first. So send those reports to me. I need to see how you guys have done so I can measure how YMC has done as a whole. And, we can get some reports so I can give y'all some feedback. YMC as a whole, we've made this much money this year. This is one of the best traders of this year. I want to be able to reward people for, sticking with it, being diligent students. I want to be able to help those who are not getting it as well. So send those reports to me. Those are important. I may be spamming y'all saying send a report, send a report, send a reports. I need those by the end of this year. If you want to wait until the last week of December, great. I just need them. I just need them this week. I would love to have them before the new year. And that's pretty much it. That's all I have for y'all guys tonight. I really appreciate y'all tuning in. If y'all have any more questions, any more concerns, feel free to hit me up, hit my line, and we'll take care of it. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video lesson. I'll see you guys next week, Wednesday, for the next Wednesday webinar. But I will see you guys tomorrow when the stock market opens back up. That's pretty much all I have.